on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We made it! We made it! We made it! We made it! And let's go! And let's go!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We made it! And let's go! And let's go!
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yap, 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 yap. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin straps.
It's embarrassing.
Yap, 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 yap.
Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We made it! And let's go! And let's go! It's a wrap. Game over.
Oh, no, this game is not over. It is definitely just getting started right here on the lunch break. And we are powered by Jones Media and Entertainment. We are on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. You got a ROKU streaming device. All you got to do is download BS3 TV. And you can get not only the lunch break, but some other really great shows like Queen 3 and King, which will be broadcasted tonight, 7 o'clock p.m. Central. It's going to be fire. It's going to be fire. Amy, Claire, Boucher, Castro, Smith, Barney, Johnson, Jones III says game time. Yes, it is. Somebody asked me, why don't you change the name of your show to Game Time? I was like, listen, people play hype music all the time before their game. They don't change the name of their team to the hype show. I'm just saying, I'm the lunch break. That's what I do. That's how I do it. That's how I've been doing it since 2017, when I was doing it on radio. Now doing it on my own. All right. Or with others. I can't leave out BS3 TV, man. They helped me get on Roku. And again, they've taken me in like family, and I feel the exact same way about them. Hey, yesterday you saw the beginning of a new show. Coach Johnny Cole stepping out on his own. On Mondays, he will be taking the HBCU stroll right here on the lunch break, powered by Jones Media and Entertainment. And again, on Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. So y'all be sure to check him out every Monday. I'll be a guest every now and then when he asks me to come on, but I want y'all to support him now, just like y'all have supported me for so many years. All right. Amy says, have a great show today. Amy, I will. You have a great day today. She throwing up fire. I like it. I like fire. I like it hot, 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 hot. And then, Amy, you are absolutely phenomenal. Be sure and tell Matthew I said hey. Be sure and tell Maddie I said hey. And tell Les. Do Les like this. Tell him AJ said, what's up? So anyway, man. Snowman, yo, Snowman in the morning with Cole Johnson is a dope show. You want to check it out. You don't want to miss it. You want to check it out because that brother is for real. One of these days, I'm going to have to get him to drop in on the lunch break and we just kind of chop it up like they do on Tournament of Champions. So anyway. Let me see. Now, Amy said, will do. She graduates next week. Wow. Is she graduating from the University of Cincinnati? Yep. She just said, University of Cincinnati, mechanical engineering, super proud. I am super proud. I remember her when. I was just telling somebody the other day how I covered Maddie's teams and all of the teams at the NCAA, at the NCAA cheerleading tournament up in Dallas. Had, God, who knows, like almost 10,000 people there in town for that cheering tournament. And it was good to see and interview Maddie and her teammates and some of the other teams that were there. There were just amazing groups that were there. And, you know, anybody who does not believe that cheerleading is a sport, you don't know sports. If you don't believe that cheerleading is a sport, get out there and try it. Get out there for a day and try to do what they do. From the warm up to the cool down. I bet you'll change your mind. Bet you'll change your mind. Keith Hennig, what up, though, Keith? It's Talk Your Team Tuesday. So, Keith, I want to hear from you about your teams. Let's see. Amy said, you've been there with us all along, and we love you. I am family. I just gonna say it like it is. Your daddy is like a daddy to me. Your mama is like a mama to me. Your brothers are truly my brothers, talking about Dave and Dan. And, you know, your family is like my family, you know. Tell Les he just got to share. They're my kids, too. They're my kids, too. All right. So, yeah, I appreciate you. And I love you. Please give everybody big hugs from me up there in FP and the Natty. All right. So now let's get in it. Talk Your Team Tuesday. The NBA playoffs are literally exactly what they used to say. Fantastic. This stuff is crazy, man. I am loving every single bit of it. Did y'all see that Brooklyn-Boston game the other night? Come on now. If you didn't, let me give you a little taste of what it was talking about the other night. Brooklyn and Boston. This is that last sequence of that game the other night with the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics. Here's the last minute of the game. It's been edited, so just check this out. Courtesy of NBA TV.
Smart drives, goes inside, adjusts, layup won't go. Horford, the rebound, back up, and he banks it home. Irving looking, 7 to shoot. Irving, step back 3, puts it in.
You want to get a 2-for-1 here.
Jaylen Brown drives on and lays it up and in. Brown with a beautiful, aggressive move.
Just to get right to the rim.
Well, the Celtics, the best defensive team in the NBA this year, need a stop here. Irving gets away from the double team. Continues into the paint, scrambling. Double teamed again. Back out to Durant. Shot clock at 2. Durant got to put it up. Gets it off in time. Off the mark, no good. Horford the rebound. Celtics have a timeout, decide not to use it here. Brown the drive. Jaylen Brown kicks it out. Smart fakes. Inside, Tatum spins and he puts it in. Celtics go up by 1.
Man, oh man, oh man. Again, that clip courtesy of NBA TV. And let me tell you something. That ending was unbelievable. First of all, just going back and forth, Kyrie Irving is a player. You can say what you want to say about Kyrie Irving. You ain't got to like him, but Kyrie Irving is a player. And Kyrie Irving knocking down that big 3 to give his team a 3-point lead. Then Jaylen Brown going down on the other end and just playing some bully ball, getting it in for the 2. Now it's a 1-point game. And did you see that defense? Did you see that defense that the Boston Celtics pulled out on Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant? First of all, they got the ball out of Kyrie's hand because Kyrie was getting ready to pull up for another little something, try and make it a 3-point or a 4-point game, which would have, in essence, put it out of reach. But that defense made him give it up, and Kevin Durant could not do what he wanted to do with it because Jason Tatum was on him like a bad habit, and he couldn't get the shot. And then on the rebound, pushing the ball up the court, nobody taking a selfish shot. Nobody taking a selfish shot, waiting until the best shot available became available, and that was the dump down to Jason Tatum. He pivots and has a clear path for a layup. Ball game, bang, buzzer, And there you go. I cannot wait to see those two go at it again tonight. I'm telling you, if you got something to say to me, if you got something, what time is that game tonight? Hold on, don't go nowhere. Let me pull it up real quick. I want to see what time that game is tonight so I can give y'all your no-fly zone. Your no-fly zone with me tonight. Oh, they don't play tonight. Boston and the Nets play game 2 tomorrow. What kind of madness is that? NBA, boo. The NBA, horrible. Play tonight. I got Bible study tomorrow night. Riggins, what you doing tomorrow night? You teaching Bible study. Riggins, you teaching Bible study tomorrow night, player, 7 o'clock. I'm going to send you a link. Just get on and, hey, first giving honor to God who's the head of my life, to the pastor in his absence, all the deacons on the roster, the deaconesses, and church members and friends. Open your Bibles too. Bruh, tomorrow night, man, I got time tonight. So, yeah, they had it tomorrow night. Tonight, you've got the Hawks and the Heat at 6:30 Central on TNT. Then you've got the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies at 7:30, followed by the Pelicans at the Suns at 9 o'clock. All those are Central Time Zone. And the Hawks and Heat, TNT, Pelicans and Suns, TNT, and Timberwolves and Grizzlies on NBA TV. So, yeah, man, I'm just telling you, I'm ready for game 2 of that. They need to do like the NFL and flex. They need to flex one of these games tonight. They need to flex that Hawks and Heats game from tonight to tomorrow and put on that Celtics and Brooklyn game. I'm like you. Big Mike Riggins says he thought Nash needed a timeout on that last possession. I think that when Kyrie couldn't find some space, they should have called timeout as well and set up a play because it was not happening. It was not happening. And then I thought Boston would call a timeout, advance the ball to the half court, to the front court, and then run a play from there. But baby, that energy was all in Boston's favor. And again, that patience, man. You know, I'm not a Boston fan. Well, at least I'm not a fan of Brad Stevens, but I love Boston's head coach. Tatum and Brown are both maturing into who I thought that they would be. And I got to tell you, man, Al Horford is 298 years old. I know Al Horford, and he's at least 298, might be 297, might be 296, but he is over 290 years old, and dude is out there still balling. And we got to give credit. We got to give credit to Celtics Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. The little man in their Defensive Player of the Year. So, again, Brad Stevens might not have been able to coach, and he couldn't, but he seems to be able to have put together a squad that can possibly do what he couldn't do. I know he made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but that was it. And you don't get accolades for making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So anyway, Big Mike said Boston for 2 Portland boys coaching. Yeah. Boston has 2 Portland boys coaching. I mean, listen, that's what's up. I like it. Ime Udoka and Damon Stoudemire doing their thing. Stoudemire should be a head coach in the NBA. Let me go on and say that out loud with my chest. Stoudemire should be a head coach in the NBA, period. Period, point blank. I'm glad Chauncey got his chance in Portland, but you bring Damon Stoudemire back to Portland as the heady. Oh yeah. You got something now. You rocking with something. Hey, let me take a quick station ID real quick, and we'll come back with more right after the Talk Your Team Tuesday. If you want to get in and talk your team, hit me up. You can text me 832-403-5005. You can even call in on that number. I'll get you in. 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005 if you want to get in. Or if you want to email me, you can email me, aj@jonesmediaandent.com. aj@jonesmediaandent.com. And I will get your comments on the air. All right. So anyway, let me take this quick station ID. I'll be back with more right after this on the lunch break.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yep.
BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts.
That's right. Changing the way you watch TV and changing the way you listen to podcasts. That's what BS3 is doing a phenomenal job. Ben Sutter III, King Doc, and others, man, phenomenal. You got to check them out. You got a Roku streaming device, download BS3 TV and check out all the great content on the channel. I'm serious when I say I want to be like them brothers when I grow up. I definitely want to be like them when I grow up. All right, so now let's get back to it, man. Let's get back to it. So again, the Celtics up 1-0 on the Brooklyn Nets. Everybody told me, Brooklyn. Man, I told y'all, Brooklyn was going to have to deal with the Boston Celtics. I told y'all that. Y'all didn't want to believe me, but now you believe me. They got to deal with the Boston Celtics size. They got to deal with the Boston Celtics playmakers. They got to deal with the Boston Celtics, all the way around. So let me tell you, that last game on Sunday, the 115-114 win by Boston on Brooklyn. Boston shot 47% from the field. Brooklyn shot 54. 3-pointers, watch this. Brooklyn shot 46. Boston shot 36. Free throws was exactly the same, 19 of 24 for both teams. But the rebounds, that's where it got out of hand for Brooklyn. 54 rebounds by Boston, 39 by Brooklyn, 14 offensive rebounds by the Boston Celtics. That's huge. That's where you've got the ball, somebody misses, and you get it to give yourself another chance. That's where, Boston had a strong advantage for their team. Then 24 assists for Boston, 20 for Brooklyn. Steals, even, 12-12. Blocks, 6-5, even. Turnovers, slight edge for Boston. Boston only turned it over 14 times. Brooklyn, 16 times. And the points off the turnover was basically the same, 15-14. So it was the fast break points as well. All that tells me this: Brooklyn's got to step up their defense. Fast break points, 21-17. That means Boston was getting back, Brooklyn was not. And a lot of folks made a big deal about that last play with Kevin Durant's defense. Let me pull that clip back up again and look at the breakdown of the clip from that game Sunday night, courtesy of NBA TV. Look at Kevin Durant.
They wave it off.
That's outstanding.
They count it. It's over.
Let's look at the possession. He could very well elevate here. Realizes he has the time, is patient, gets into the seams, delivers the on-point pass to Tatum.
Let me jump back in real quick. Kevin Durant was at the top of the key, all right? And Jason Tatum was at the top of the key. Brown slid up to the top of the key where Kevin was, and Tatum slipped behind Kevin Durant towards the basket, or at least towards the baseline. Durant never paid attention to Jason Tatum, but he did have to stay with Brown, because if he didn't stay with Brown, Brown would have been wide open for a three. And again, Tatum made a phenomenal play when he cut. He ended up pivoting after making the catch, and he had a clear path lane to the basket. Ball game. Let me let you see the rest of that as
he gets it off in the nick of time.
And when you close there, it's easy to say, but you got to close under control.
And Tatum finishes with 31 by mistake, saying waving it off. They were.
Yeah, so there you go, man. Again, a little thing. It was a little thing, but it ended up costing them the game. And I'm not saying that play cost them the game, but I'm just saying your defensive lapse right there. If Durant has to go up to the top of the key with Brown, then somebody's got to pick up Tatum sooner and deny him that pass coming into the lane, and then again he made a phenomenal play once he made the catch and got the basket. So if Brooklyn is not going to clean up those little things, just little things, if they're not going to clean up little things, let me tell you, Boston is good enough that they'll make them pay for the little thing. A close game like that favor Boston over Brooklyn. So there you go. As far as just box score players who did what and what have you, Durant didn't have his best night, 9 for 24, 1 for 5 from 3, but he finished with 23 points. Brown, they shut him down. But, Brown is normally one of those guys that gets you points that, you're just like, whoa, where'd that come from? Drummond, 8, 4, no assists. So you mean you got no passes out of your big? Again, nothing there. Seth Curry, they kept him, kind of tame on that three-point line. He was only 1 for 4 there. Kyrie Irving's Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving. But as we've seen in the past, one guy can't beat 5. So Kyrie had 39, 12 for 20 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3. But when it counted, again, they got enough defense on Kyrie to make him give it up. And Durant, who was having a cold night, couldn't drop it in. Off the bench, Claxton 13, and Goran Dragic had 14. But man, on that other side, Boston was balanced. And that's what I felt like Boston had that Brooklyn didn't. Balance. You got 20 and 15 out of Horford, who is 290-something years old. Then you got 31 from Tatum plus 8 assists. So Tatum wasn't just playing one-on-one ball. Tatum was looking for the open shots. And then you got 23 out of Brown. You got 20 out of Smart. Your point guard had 7 rebounds and 6 assists. I'm telling you, the assists that they had out of the starting 5, 2 from Horford, 8 from Tatum, 3 from Brown, and 6 from Smart. And then they got 7 and 7 off the bench from Williams and White. So let me just tell you, man, that's a good matchup. That's a good matchup. That Boston and Brooklyn matchup is a good one. And I can't wait to get to it on Wednesday now. I'm going to have to preach like real short, like Jesus wept. Y'all break that down, ask in your heart what that means, and y'all have a good night. And get on to the TV somewhere because, man, I don't want to miss it. Big Mike, don't laugh at me, man. Don't laugh. I got to give him one of them short sermons. Got to give him one of those shorties. All right, so let's get to the rest of the action last night. Last night, it was Philadelphia taking a 2-0 lead over Toronto, 112-97. And I'm just going to say it because y'all ain't going to agree with me. Joel Embiid is a problem. Joel Embiid is a problem that Toronto cannot figure out. Joel Embiid is just too big, too strong, and too good right now for Toronto. Embiid had 31 and 11 last night. Embiid was 9 for 16, shot, over 50% from the field, even knocked down a tray just for good measure. And then Maxey, I hate he is not going to be able to play in Portland, his decision, but 23, 9, and 8, and he had some big shots. 8 for 11 from the field, 3 for 6 from the three-point line. And then everybody is talking about James Harden. Oh, man. Let me tell you something. I covered Harden as long as anybody else did here in Houston. I covered James Harden as long as anyone else did here in Houston. I covered him from the day he got here. I covered him to the day he left. James Harden does not have to do in Philly what he did here in Houston. In Houston, he was the man. In Philly, he is one of the men. So, again, I don't like to mess with people's opinions and their talking points, especially my colleagues and what have you, because there's some phenomenal people out there. I love what other people do in this industry. But to just, say that James Harden is not playoff strong, he's not mentally tough in the playoffs, he's a liability in the playoffs, it's just not true. It's just not true. Yeah, but look at his playoff record. Yeah, but look at the teams he was running with. Look at what he had to do and what was expected of him. That same thing is not the case in Philly. And oh yeah, before you talk to me about Brooklyn, he was hurt. He came back on a bad hamstring and still put up decent numbers for a dude with a bad hamstring. What I don't like is people lock players into a take. If that take was true 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever it was true back then. It doesn't mean it's still true now. James Harden does not have to run the show in Philly. But watch this. It doesn't mean he can't when they need him, and they didn't need him last night. They didn't need him night number 1. They are 2-0, and they got a dude who can facilitate. That bounce pass that he literally made just past half court to a breaking player that, I mean, that's James Harden. That's what he's got to do. Facilitate the ball in Philly. Score when you have a need to score, or when you have an advantage over your man. But other than that, facilitate the ball to Embiid, to Maxey, and to the other players, man. I'm just telling you, folks are just locked into the same old, same old, same old. It does not make you smart to keep repeating the same things that may no longer be true. BS3, this brother knows what he's talking about. BS3 says, true, not a lot of pressure on Harden. He ain't the man. He don't have to be the man. He gets that. And a lot of people want to make it seem like he's got to be the man. If he ain't the man, he just blah, 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 blah. Harden's team is up 2 games to none. What else do you want? It'd be different if they were barely winning by a point. They're blowing the brakes and the doors off of Toronto. Toronto does not have an answer for Joel Embiid. It's like LeBron James gets criticized to death because LeBron James knows how to make the right play instead of just being the one to make the big play. LeBron James knew in that series when they were down 3-1 to the Golden State Warriors that nobody on Golden State's roster could guard Kyrie Irving. And somewhere down the line, he said, yo, you the man. I'm going to make sure you get the ball. You do your thing. And oh, yeah, by the way, what did they do? They came back from 3-1, won the chip over a 73-9 Golden State Warrior team. Y'all talk about basketball IQ, but some people don't know what basketball IQ really means, because what James Harden is exhibiting right now is basketball IQ. This is working. Let me make sure it works well. I'm just saying. Now, if you don't agree with me, hit me up. 832-403-5005, 832-403-5005. Okay, here we go. 346-935, 346-935. AJ, so are you saying you're a Boston fan now after the way you talked about that man in Boston? I just cleared that up. I said I am not a Brad Stevens fan. But I love Ime. I love Tatum and Brown are starting to mature into who I thought that they can be when they got into the league. And Al Horford is old as me, and Al is still balling. So yeah, I think I made it pretty clear. And I like the pit bull, Marcus Smart. I like them a lot. Thanks for the text message. All right, who else we got? DR says, man, that Brooklyn Boston series is the best one out there right now. They definitely need to flex that one like the NFL. Who else I got? TC said, AJ, James Harden is a head case, and he's going to end up being the downfall of Philly. I don't agree. Because what y'all also have to understand, different theology and coaching. Mike D'Antoni, just go. You can do whatever you want. You ain't got to play no defense. You ain't got to do that. Doc Rivers, whole different deal. Doc Rivers is a cerebral coach. Doc Rivers is a true player's coach, not from the standpoint of letting them do whatever they want to do, but from the standpoint of getting an understanding and building a real relationship with the guys so he can coach them the way that they need to be coached, as opposed to one size fits all. And Doc gets a bad rap for that too. Paul George and them cats over there in LA, the Clippers, they tried to lay all that at Doc's feet. No, wrong dude. If you were saying it about anybody else, I would have bought it, but not about Doc Rivers. All right, let me take a quick station ID and quick commercial break. Here's a little bit about what's happening with BS3 right here on the lunch break on the legendary, powered by Jones Media and Entertainment. All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break, powered by Jones Media and Entertainment and on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you got a Roku streaming device, download BS3 TV. And I'm telling you, all those great shows that you just saw there, you're going to fall in love with plenty of them. And I mean that sincerely. All right, so let me go back to some of the comments that BS3 Ben Sutter III had himself. He said, D'Antoni method has never won a chip. Absolutely not. Has not. And I said that when they hired Mike D'Antoni. I said that when they hired him. It's like, man, it's almost like the former owner of the team said, oh, man, what Golden State is doing, I know somebody who can do that, like an old uncle. Man, that's the old Skilly Willie. Now, that ain't to this. That's a Skilly Willie. It's like, uncle, what's the Skilly Willie? Oh, that's that dance y'all doing. We used to do that back in the day. So he pulled out Mike D'Antoni with his fast break offense. That thing ain't never won a chip. What Golden State was doing not one, not two, but several chips. And it's the same thing now. Doc Rivers' scheme has won a chip. Doc Rivers' style of play has won a chip. Oh, but he had the big three. Yeah. Show me a team that didn't have a big three that won a chip. Show me one. The closest you can get is Toronto with Kawhi Leonard. That's the closest you can get to a team that won a chip without a big three. Maybe Giannis and his squad, but other than that, big three. Let's see. He says Sixers have a chance with this squad, barring health. I agree. You put the coach, that team, they got a shot. I see it coming down to again, my Final Four is going to be Brooklyn. I'm sorry, my Final Four is going to be Milwaukee. It's going to be Boston. It's going to be Philly. And pick a team. That's somebody else got to get in that number 4 spot. All right. King Dog is in the building, y'all. Again, going to have a great show tonight. Can't wait to see what comes up on Queen 3 and King podcast tonight, 7 o'clock Central, right there on Roku. Got to download that BS3 TV app, though, on your Roku streaming device, and you can check out Queen 3 and King. All right, let me get to some other stuff real quick. Let me get to some other stuff, some other games that was happening in the NBA playoffs. Again, Philadelphia up 2-0. Everybody counted the Mavs out. In fact, some dude wrote an article that the Mavs losing to Utah in game 1 was squarely at the feet of Jason Kidd because he played Luka Doncic in a game that really didn't matter. And Luka, of course, had the hamstring pull. So he claimed the Saturday night loss was squarely on Jason Kidd. All right, now what? Who's the win on from last night? 110-104 over Utah without Luka. And oh yeah, by the way, Jalen Brunson went off for 41. Basketball is a team sport. Yes, you want your stars out there fully healthy and ready to go during the playoffs. But a little while ago, y'all were whining and complaining about load management. Oh, load management. Oh, back in the day, Michael Jordan played in 8,559 games in one season, and he never sat out. Charles Barkley never came out of one single game. He stayed in all 89 games in one season. Magic Johnson would kick you in the kneecap if you tried to take him out of a game. I once saw him hold a coach by the throat if he tried to take him out of the game. Y'all are hilarious. 1 minute is load management. The next minute it's the coach's fault for not sitting the player out. And oh yeah, the series is tied at 1 each. It's the playoffs. These are playoff teams. In fact, this Mavericks and Utah is the 4 versus the 5. They're very evenly matched. Even without Luka, they only lost the first game by what? 6? And they had a shot down the stretch. Just couldn't knock down baskets or hit free throws, Dinwiddie. But last night they got a very nice 110-104 win over Utah. The series now shifts to Utah for game 3. That'll be Thursday night, 8 o'clock Central. Thursday night, 8 o'clock Central. Jalen Brunson, big game. Big game. And man, I know Dallas is really glad to have Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie, 17. He was 6 for 18, 1 for 6 from the 3-point line. But the dude is, again, another cerebral player. Another cerebral player who has a high basketball IQ. And when he's not doing one thing well, he'll do the other stuff. 6 assists and 4 rebounds in that win for the Mavs. So that series is tied at 1 each. Golden State. Big Mike, they jiggling and wiggling again up there in San Francisco. Golden State having fun, like, it's their world. It's their world. And I got to give it to this young man, Jordan Poole. What in the world did Denver do to him? What did Denver do to Jordan Poole? Because this dude is playing like it's personal. He's playing like they said something about his mama, his wife, his granny, his cousin, them. He playing like all y'all. I mean, this dude is on fire, literally. And he's getting the start over Steph Curry, who, they're managing his minutes because he's coming off of an injury. But Poole had 29 last night. Klay Thompson, 21, 13 from Wiggins, and then they got 34 from Steph off the bench. Golden State's going to be hard to beat if they play like that. But let me just say this. I'm not giving it to them over Phoenix. I'm not. Because everybody jiggling and wiggling up in San Francisco doesn't mean that Phoenix don't have the better squad right now. And they do. Because Phoenix has multiple people who can score and they got multiple people who can play defense. And I'm not saying that Golden State does not play defense, because they do. What I'm saying is Golden State has to go against a defense that is as good, if not better, than theirs. That's what I'm saying. And Denver doesn't have that right now. Especially without their star player. They just don't have that right now. They don't have that right now. In fact, Denver is in that place where you just won't want to be. Without Jamal Murray, they're a different squad. I will say this. I know the playoffs doesn't affect the MVP voting, but this Joker, he ain't the MVP. Joker can't take over he hasn't taken over the game in the playoffs like he did some regular season games. Joker is just a big dude out there right now who looks like he's ready to fight everybody. Joker's just a big bully out there right now. He is not playing MVP level basketball so far in this round of the playoffs. Now, maybe he'll be different when when they go home. Maybe it'll be different. But right now, I don't know. Keith Hennig, I'm kind of with you. I feel like it's going to be the Suns and Milwaukee again, and I feel like the Suns might snip or slide past Milwaukee this year. But let me tell you something. Everybody is being a creature of the moment when it comes to Golden State, a prisoner of the moment when it comes to Golden State. Don't forget, there is a legit team that has done it all season long without some of their star players. Baby, okay. Enjoy what you're enjoying right now. If you are a Warriors fan, Hercules against a undermanned Denver team. Let me see what you do against Phoenix. If you get there, if you get that far. So anyway, that's an interesting matchup. But I am impressed, though. Don't get it twisted. I am impressed with what I see out of this Golden State Warriors team. I told y'all they were going to be a problem. Everybody say, oh, yeah, Golden State, a couple of seasons away. Now, I knew this Golden State team was going to be in that top 8, and I called it last year in the offseason. So, miss me on that one. They would have been there the year before that. Klay Thompson done get hurt at the beginning of the season. So, we'll see. All right, so tonight, you got Miami hosting the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta is more than likely going to be without Clint Capella, and I'm telling you, Capella provides a lot more in the middle there than he did when he was here. Again, D'Antoni's system did not fit a Clint Capella, but Nate McMillan's system definitely works well for a Clint Capella. We'll see what they do without the big man tonight at 6:30 Central. And then Memphis and Minnesota. Let me tell you something. That Anthony Edwards, bruh, ain't no way in the world that dude is not yet 21. That's a grown man. I'm telling you, the country folks say he got an old soul. He been here before. That dude is somebody. And Memphis has got to figure it out tonight. They can't go down 0-2. They can't go down 0-2 and then be on your way to Minnesota. I feel like Ja is going to have a better night tonight. You know who is starting to look like a liability, and now I can kind of see why Oklahoma City moved on from him, New Orleans moved on from him. Steven Adams is not that dude. I mean, if he still got it, I don't see it. Valanciunas and some of those other bigs are a whole different brand of ball. In fact, Steven Adams reminds me, I'm going old school, y'all. Reminds me of Mark Eaton. Remember Mark Eaton, big man for Utah? He was just big. If you got it into him in the paint, yeah, he was going to do something with it because he was just big. But all the other stuff, he ain't have it. If you try to drive the paint and try to go over him, yeah, he'll block your shot. But anything outside of that, he didn't have it. And that's what Steven Adams is starting to look like. Starting to look like a big who just doesn't move his feet well, can't defend on the perimeter, and you don't get a lot out of him offensively. And I think Minnesota's taking advantage of that with Karl Anthony Towns, who can do all of that plus. So I don't know. That might be the Achilles heel of this Memphis Grizzlies team. They got to find some of that magic that they had during the regular season right now in the postseason, because Minnesota is on one, and Anthony Edwards is a grown tail man. All right, station ID, and I'm coming back to wrap it up.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network is now on ROKU TV under BS3 TV. Download today.
All right, that's who they are. That's where we are. We are on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 and all the good folks on the network. I'm glad to be a part of the family. So you got a Roku streaming device, download BS3 TV and check out all of the great shows. I promise you will be glad you did. So listen, I'm going to play the lineup for BS3 at the end of the show. Y'all be sure and stay tuned for that. I'm going to play the lineup for BS3 at the end of the show. and y'all stay tuned for that. All right, so let me jump over to a little football. Can we talk a little football? USFL got started with a nice bang. I like it. I'm just gonna tell you, I like it. I know there are some names that some people are familiar with. There's some names that other folks aren't. The quarterback play hadn't been exceptionally great or anything like that, but I still like it. I still like it. I don't know if I'm down with the bubble environment. They're playing all of the games in Birmingham because the fans came out for the Birmingham Stallions game opener, but then nobody showed up for all the rest of the games. The Texans, I'm sorry, not the Texans, the Houston Gamblers will play Birmingham this coming Sunday, and it'll be, it should be a better game because they're playing Birmingham, so there should be more fans in the stands. But of course, all the talk USFL wise is about the player who apparently asked a food services worker if he could have pizza instead of salad. And the head coach took exception to that, saying that, you've crossed the line, you've gone too far. And he ended up cutting the player because he apparently wanted pizza instead of salad. I had a nice cheese veggie pizza myself the other day, and I'm trying to figure out what's wrong. Well, there is an investigation going on into the way that the player was handled, because if he was cut because he chose one meal over the other, then that apparently is a violation of the rules or what have you for the USFL. The team has since released a statement saying that we didn't have all the context because it was a show. There were other things that surrounded that didn't make the cut that would have given more context to it. So apparently there were other violations that this young man had in a 24-hour period that culminated with him asking for pizza over a salad. Well, the young man himself got loose on Twitter and was saying, "Now you done lied. You done mess with my character. I ain't mad at you. If they lie on you, brother, speak up. Don't let them dictate and define who you are." And apparently he and the coach have talked, and the coach is going to speak up for him. But, it's kind of interesting that the USFL done came in with some drama already. So I'm looking forward to the games. I don't know what to say about that with the Pittsburgh team and this young man. Man, the head coach up in Michigan now lost his first game, 17-12 to the Houston Gamblers. Don't feel bad if you are a fan of the Michigan USFL football team. Y'all gonna be about what I think they played 10 games. Y'all be about 5-5. Y'all be about 5-5. Y'all be about 5-5. He done turned his hat around trying to look all young. That dude, good Lord Almighty. I just don't know where to put him in the coaching ranks in football, because he doesn't need to be in the NFL, might not need to be in the USFL. I hope they don't get him in the XFL, and he definitely don't need to be around college players. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, got another text message that came in. All right, 813-597, 813-597. Do you think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can get back to the Super Bowl? Love the show. 813-597. I think that Tampa Bay is one of the teams to beat in the NFC. I've got the Rams. I've got Tampa Bay. I've got San Francisco. And again, I'll offend y'all. I've got Dallas. I know. What about Green Bay? Yeah. What about them? What about New Orleans? I had too many question marks. And nobody else is even close to being, where they need to be. Philly, maybe. Philly might be one of those teams that makes a significant leap from where they were to, where they end up this year. They might be one of those teams. Don't know. It's not going to be Giants. Not going to be Washington. It's not going to be Minnesota. Not going to be Chicago. Definitely not going to be Detroit. And then anybody in the NFC West, in my opinion, has a shot. Anybody in the NFC West, in my opinion, has a shot. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. But yeah, I think Tampa Bay is one of the top 2, top 3 teams in the NFC. Let's see. I know I got some 513s in here because of something I said about the here we go. Area code 513-852. So AJ, you know, turned your back on your Bengals already. You went out and got you a new Bengals shirt and was talking all that noise during the playoffs. No, I'm not saying that I'm turned my back on them. What I'm saying is they got to do it again. They have to do it again. They can't just ride on what they did last season. They go from being the hunter to the hunted this year. Nobody's going to take Cincinnati lightly. Nobody's going to, let up on them and what have you. In fact, it's going to be Cincinnati against the league, really. It's going to be Cincinnati definitely against the AFC because of what they did last year. Nobody's going to let up on Cincinnati. You're going to have teams literally trying to keep Cincinnati out of the playoffs because of what they were able to do in the play. You couldn't keep Cincinnati down. Cincinnati found a way to win games that they were literally out of. So I'm telling you, teams are going to attack Cincinnati a little differently. I don't think Cincinnati wins the AFC North. I think Cincinnati comes in second or third in the AFC North, depending upon how things work out in Cleveland, depending upon how things work out in Baltimore and in Pittsburgh. I mean, let's keep it real now. Cincinnati hadn't been the talk of the AFC since the days of Marvin Lewis, and y'all didn't appreciate him. So I'm not about to give Zach Taylor all the praise because he got them from worst to first. I'm not going to do it. Keith Hennick, if it turns out that Brady forced Aaron into retiring, Brady should be on IR. I don't know what the truth of that story is. I really don't. And the Boston Globe seems to have a way of breaking stories like that, where, again, I know that they have sources, but sometimes their sources are internal. And it's like, how can you be the source and the breaker of the story? I don't know how that works. So we'll see. I don't know if we'll ever know the truth about that entire situation. All right, y'all, got to get ready to wrap this thing up. Been good to be back on. It was good to have a little bit of a day off yesterday and just kind of run the board for Coach Johnny Cole. So, again, man, I'm telling you, there's a lot of opportunity out there. If you got an idea for a show, if you got an idea for a podcast or something, even something outside of sports and what have you, hit me up because I know a lot of people who can help you do your show. I can help you do your show. I can get you connected with the BS3 family. There's a lot of opportunity. If you got a vision, we got a way to make that vision come true. All right. So again, don't be afraid to hit us up. 832-403-5005. Do me a favor, Ryan Peoples, keep him in your prayers. Ryan Peoples is the young man that won the $500 in the lunch break bracket challenge. I did finally get in contact with him. His father passed away. So he's literally having to traverse the country to try and take care of, the necessary things for his father. But, I want y'all to keep him in your prayers. I don't know him personally. I don't know if he's part of the BS3 family or what have you, or if he's just one of our listeners. But do me a favor, our viewers, because we're more now of a TV format than radio. But do me a favor, be compassionate and keep that young man in your prayers. Extend your condolences to him and his family as they go through this tough time. Once he gets everything taken care of, we're going to actually have him on the show. He'll do a video for us, to say, hey, I'm Ryan Peoples. I won $500 with the lunch break. And, we'll have all of that put together after he takes care of stuff, which is much more important than fooling with us. So, again, y'all do me a favor, reach out to Ryan Peoples and let him know that, you're thinking about him. All right. Without further ado, let me get ready to wrap this thing up. If you got a chance to come through tomorrow, it'll be Winning Wednesday. We'll talk about the upcoming NFL draft. I think there's going to be a lot of maneuvering. We already heard that Jimmy Garoppolo will not participate in the early camp stuff for the San Francisco 49ers. So I think there's some maneuvering that will be going on there. Still trying to figure out where Baker Mayfield is going to go because he feels so disrespected. So we'll find out where all that is going to play out, how all that is going to play out, and we'll talk about a lot of that tomorrow. I'll talk about the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick and Challenge, where you'll have a chance to win $500 cash for yourself and $50 every week of the NFL season. So be sure and come back tomorrow. Tune in this time right here on The Lunch Break, powered by Jones Media and Entertainment. And and on Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. You got a Roku streaming device? Download that BS3 TV. You're going to thank me later. All right, without further ado, let me get Sybil Wilkes on here and let her do what you need to know today. Y'all stand by.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. Number 1. As many as 4 mass shootings in the United States over the Easter holiday weekend capped a month-long spate of gun violence that has touched both big cities and small, rural communities across the nation. The gunfire rattled large population centers such as Dallas, Pittsburgh, Sacramento, California, as well as much smaller communities, including Hampton County, South Carolina. According to the Gun Violence Archive, in just over the first 3.5 months of 2022, more than 130 mass shootings have taken place. Number 2, last Friday, President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden released their tax returns on whitehouse.gov. The Bidens earned a combined income of $610,702 last year. They paid a federal income tax rate of 24.6%, which came to $150,439, and another $40,000 in their home state of Delaware. The Bidens made charitable donations totaling $17,000, which included $5,000 to the Beau Biden Foundation, set up in the name of the president's deceased son. Number 3, officials warned millions of vaccine doses that the United States has already purchased and could send abroad could expire because of the impasse in the Congress over the budget. Public health experts have repeatedly stressed that vaccine inequity allows new and potentially more dangerous variants to emerge. Only 16% of populations in low-income countries have received at least one dose of a vaccine, compared to 80% in high and upper-middle-income countries. Number 4. On March 5th, 2019, 2 Black women who were friends, Daima Loving and Adriana Green, called police in Miami-Dade County, Florida, to report a neighbor who verbally harassed them and threatened to shoot them while pointing a shotgun. The officer, identified as Alejandro Geraldo, arrived on the scene and, not liking her tone of voice as she frantically tried to explain her encounter, he tackled her to the ground and arrested her. Viral footage of the incident led to Geraldo's suspension from the police and his conviction. He now faces up to 5 years in prison. Number 5, a common taxpayer mistake is not understanding the head of household filing status, which is the tax filing status for a non-married person who is independent and who financially supports one or more qualified people. This status means a higher standard deduction and usually a lower tax rate. Find out more information in today's newsletter, brought to you by Texas CPA Katrina M. Kraft. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Letting go is the ultimate act of freedom. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedian extraordinaire, yes he is, Damon Williams, and political contributor Cameron Riley. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SybilWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.